If you have to subdivide a floor in one-point perspective, there are actually two different methods we can use. So, for example, here I'm going to use kind of like a one-point perspective. Okay, so I'm going to draw ourselves a nice proportional front line, and then there's a square. Okay, perfect. So let me switch, alternating my colors. So from this point you see I draw a line through there. Same actually, I could also go through this corner. And the main reason why I did that is if I continue this line left and right, you see where it cuts. There actually I would have another square. Ideally, this distance should be equal this, should be equal this, if everything is done correctly. And currently it looks like this. And obviously those left and right corners, squares, have really pinched corners, and that is simply because, again, they're also outside the cone of vision here a little bit. So you see that there. Okay. So now having this, whoops, wrong tool, having those lines, see, for example, I can go over to there. And now there are different ways how you could, for example, continue. Now, I could, for example, go and take orange and go to there. You see this point and this point have to line up. They do. So this square is actually correct. There it cuts another line somewhere. So if I go back to my color here, there we go over. See all these lines there touch, so that's all correct. Let's do this one more time through this corner. See, diagonal and diagonal are touching, so that works. So now we go this way and this way. And see, step by step, actually, everything starts to foreshorten more. So that's an easy way how, for example, you could create something that is foreshortening from your front actually to your camera. And you see I'm drawing those diagonals in, and that can then also be used as a measurement tool, for example, to see if your drawings are also correct. All these orange lines have to run through corner points. And more or less they also all do. So you see, I foreshortened one way to the back, but you can also move this way, actually, something to the side. And obviously, you have to be careful of the cone of vision. So let me show you maybe a different approach. So I can do the same line, vertical, maybe pre-check our cone of vision. So kind of like somewhere there. So roughly here I'm making this really big line. Okay, that means actually I can make this a little bit longer. Okay, there and there. And let's say this is my surface I would like to subdivide. Now the thing, this technique only works really with kind of like halves and quarters and eighths. But basically here you see I can do the same. Hold on, actually this one I do not mark in there, because in this line I go with orange in. So you see actually that if I sketched everything correctly, the orange line should always run through crosses. So here, for example, I could make a horizontal line. Now you see here I have a nice rectangle. This front rectangle, if I want to, I can subdivide even one more time. And again, you see where the two diagonals hit, it should be on the orange line, so this is okay. So from there, if I go over and there, and let's ink in actually some of those rectangles more so you see them better. Or for example, there and there and there. Here's a small one. So that's done on the floor. Obviously, you can do the same also on the walls or the ceiling. So those are the two very common ways how you could subdivide easily a space when working in one-point perspective.